Hello everyone. In this small video, we will see how to use for with else in Python. So as I have written here, do you know that in Python for and while loops have an else clause? Yes, it is true. Now you may ask questions as why do we need it? How does this work? And where can we use it? So for many of us, this term else create little confusion because in most of the programming language, we have seen this else with if else statement, or we can say as if else statement. So for many of us, if else makes sense, but an else for a loop, for a moment, stop trying to make sense of word else. We will just think that Python is offering you an additional feature with its loops. Let's see how it works. So you can see in this example, range function I have taken 1 to 6. It means the loop will go from 1 till 5. So if I run this particular lines of code, I can see that it is printing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it is saying for loop completed. Here you can see as I have used else with for loop, and after normal completion of for loop, else block is also getting executed. So you can see here after completion of this for loop, else block is also getting executed, that it is saying for loop completed, or you can see this for loop completed is inside else block. Now let's add break in this loop with conditions. Now I have taken one condition as I am iterating this range from 1 to 5, and I have added one condition here. If iteration is greater than 4, then stop loop and break from this loop. So it simply means that iterate from 1 to 5. If any number is greater than 4, then stop the loop. I have iterated number from 1 to 5, and I have added one additional condition, if else condition, or you can say branching condition inside this for loop, as if the number is greater than 4, then stop this loop, else print the iteration. Now comes the use of else statement. Let's see how it is working. Let's suppose I am taking the condition from 1 to 6. For 1, it is coming to else block and it is printing 1. For 2, it is coming to else block, it is printing 2. For 3, it is coming to else block, it is printing 3. For 4, it is coming to else block and it is printing 4. Now, when iteration is going to be 5, it is going to check if 5 is greater than 4, then break this loop. Whenever break is going to execute, else is not going to execute. If in case the condition is not going to execute, only in that case else block is going to work. Let's see how else block is going to work. Let's suppose instead of 1 to 6, I am putting it as 1 to 3. In case of 1, else block is going to execute. In case of 2, this else block is going to execute. In this case, in this scenario, break is not going to execute. If break is not going to execute, then this else block which is with for loop is will be executed. Let's see, will it execute or not? So as you can see, for 1 and 2, we are getting 1 and 2, and no break executes inside this for loop. That's why this else is going to execute. This simply concludes that the else statement is executed only when for loop does not terminate. So you can see in the diagram, loop got terminated and did not execute all its iterations. In this case, break is going to execute. In the case of break, else is not going to execute. If loop completed all its iterations normally without hitting a break statement, in that case only this else block is going to execute. Now you might be thinking, what are the real time examples can you tell me any real time example where do we need this? So I have taken one real time example here. The question is something like that: take range from user, and if 5 exists in that range, print that 5. else print 5 not found. So you can see here in the start I am taking one user input, just tell me the start number, and in the end I am taking the end number from the user. Now I am iterating the loop from start to end plus 1. It means if start is 1 and end is 6, the loop is going to execute from 1 to 6. And if the I is equal to 5, if the number is equal to 5 inside that iteration, break is going to execute. If in case inside this iteration no 5 is there, only in that case this else is going to execute. Let me run it now. Let's suppose I am taking start as 1 and I am taking end as 6. So from 1 to 6, 5 exists. It means this particular block is going to execute and this else block will not be executed. Let me press enter. So it says that found 5, I am from for loop. So it says that I am from for loop. Now in case I am taking range as 100 to 200. In this case 5 doesn't exist inside this range from 100 to 200. It simply means this for loop is not going to break. If it is not going to break, then this else is going to execute. Let's see will it work or not. Let me press enter. So it is saying unable to find 5 in this range. I am from else part. So you can see this else is going to execute now.